That's
Hello.
right. And
Your
my
man
giant manly Navy house.
and your giant manly navy cap and your giant manly house. Hello.
Oh, it's you know what that is? That's a cup. That's I just took a sip of victory.
And
Delicious.
schadenfreude and schadenfreude
Ooh.
deliciousness. Yes.
Oh, it's full of schadenfreude deliciousness.
Oh, speaking of
Oh,
which, I had to read you Julia Davis's tweet. She says, meanwhile, on Kremlin-controlled Russian state TV, our candidate is finished. Trump waved the white flag of surrender. If you're going to name a vaccine after Trump, name it loser.
I so love Julia Davis. No one monitors the Russians like she does.
Well,
Ay, ay, ay. But you know what? That's just too effing bad because you can, the Kremlin must be apoplectic.
yeah.
One, because they were getting all these things. I mean, here's Donald Trump pulling out of the Open Skies Treaty, which is that treaty allowed us since the beginning of the end of the Cold War to actually fly over Russia's airspace. And they fly over our airspace so that no secret programs are going on. And here's Trump doing this. You know what? Somebody wrote this the other day. Trump had no clue about this program.
Yeah. Of course not.
The Kremlin called this one in.
No.
And said, hey, why don't you get rid of this?
This is what everybody's saying. Is this what this is? He's frantically trying to fulfill Putin's wish list. Of course, Putin's the only world leader who is saying, oh, I'm still unclear on the results of the American election. I mean, so this is just like a frantic, well, first of all, tell us what happened, because I assume because Chris Krebs and other patriots did their job and secured America's elections. I guess my question is, how did they get away with that? How did Trump? I mean, did Trump think that he could, let Russia interfere to help him again? And I mean, what exactly went down? And obviously, Chris Krebs got fired because I assume Trump was hoping for Russian help again. So what happened?
Chris Krebs has not been fired. Chris Krebs has been placed on leave until January 20th, right?
Right.
I mean, I would go to Hawaii at this point and take a well-deserved vacation from saving American democracy. I've said this all along, and we had many calls where people had said, I'm worried that, NSA, the CIA, National Cybersecurity Command, that Trump is going to do something to make them stop doing their jobs. He can't. You cannot stop these agencies from doing their job, right? The Computer and Cybersecurity Agency over at DHS works hand in hand, which is the national organization, works hand in hand with the National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command down in Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Point of order. Do you think Trump tried? Do you think Trump tried to order them to stand down and let Russia interfere? Do you think he was pissed when he found out that they stopped Russia from interfering?
To be honest, I don't think Trump knew there was such an organization.
Even better.
You've got idiots like Chad Wolf, right? The illegally appointed acting Secretary of Homeland Security, who is completely focused on owning the libs and destroying the imaginary organization called Antifa. I think this one slipped past. But at the same time, Trump was out there hawking fraud. And then you get this guy come up and say, hey, well, nothing happened from foreign actors. Trump only hears Trump Russia.
Yeah.
And in his little, dinosaur mind, all he can believe is that this is the guy that probably worked with the liberals that cost us the election.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. One thing, Steph. I have been monitoring the right wing, troll holes and websites and Parler and Gab, and it is utterly amazing. The worst is QAnon. They don't know what to do with themselves. They've reduced themselves to this. It's all part of the plan, man.
Yeah.
Trust in the plan. Hashtag trust the plan. That's all they can do.
That's what Rudy Giuliani said after their 35th court loss. This is what we wanted, so we can get to the Supreme Court quicker. We got them exactly where we want them now.
Well, I mean, you got to watch the machinations and the twisting that's going on in their little brains to try to justify that this is a strategic Trump fake out. And within that world, they still believe the Great Awakening or the storm is going to happen, and that thousands of liberals, including Biden and Obama, will all be arrested in the next, 60 days.
Oh my God.
While Biden takes control of the government.
Sure.
So they're in very sad shape over there.
Well, I mean, Malcolm, what's the phrase I'm looking for? I know, quid pro quo. I mean, it seems like, again, hurrying to finish Putin's wish list, whether it's open skies, whether it's, I guess the mind is just reeling in terms of that, there's something traded for that he's the only world leader that hasn't congratulated Biden and is saying he's still unclear on the results and yada, yada. I mean, is there ever going to be consequences for bounties on our soldiers? I mean, it just...
Well, first off and foremost, the two most important positions in the government thus far have not yet been awarded. And that's Secretary of Defense, which I understand the two top candidates in that position are Michelle Flournoy, who came from Center of New American Security, who is a Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. And the other is Jay Johnson from the Department of Homeland Security, who was also the general counsel to the Pentagon at one point. He actually wouldn't be a bad pick. I mean, we've had there really hasn't been a black male appointed to the cabinet yet.
Yeah.
So he's but he's also, it said, in the running for Attorney General, right there under Glenn Kirshner. So that's the other job that will be the most consequential job. And as they were saying, Xavier Becerra, Sally Yates, and one other individual are in the running for those jobs.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you, I don't know if they're listening. I don't know if Joe Biden tunes in every morning.
Oh, of course he does.
But of course he does.
Hi, Joe.
I know they're going for stability, but what they really need is a pit bull.
Yeah.
I love Sally Yates. Sally Yates was a straight shooter back in 2016 and 2017 when she was fired. I just don't think she has the fire to take on what they will find out, and that the entire United States government was a continuing criminal enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that people were exploiting, using, making money off of this administration or off of the people's money. So you need somebody who's going to follow that to the end.
And I know you and I and Glenn Kirshner agree on that there's got to be consequences for treason so it doesn't happen again. I mean, you have got to go back to the 10 counts of obstruction. We can't just go, that covered up the criminal conspiracy. I mean, it's just, this is too huge for us to just go, let's just move on now.
Well, you know how I feel about the word treason, right? I mean, we're using it rhetorically. You can't use it legally. However, there is a world of machinations going on there, which all of, any House investigation and other agency investigations from the IGs that will be put back, they can refer all of these activities to criminal prosecution to the Attorney General's office.
Well, by the way, what do you call this?
Kumbaya.
What do you call this in the transition period? If it's not treason, sedition, what do you call actively subverting American democracy and trying to actively steal an American election? I mean, it's almost worse.
That's subversion. I mean, that's subversion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the treason is the only crime defined in the Constitution, and you have to be at war and giving aid to somebody who's at war. Yeah. But does that mean we're not going to find a myriad of criminal offenses? Let me tell you something. There is no erasing all of your computer sent documents from the internet. That's bull. Okay, if it wasn't on a standalone system and you degaussed it, there's still a copy out there in the United States government.
But Hillary took a hammer and acid washed her.
That's just retarded. But these people, political faux pas. But these people really think they're going to get away with it. And what I don't think should permeate our world is that Kumbaya should allow them to get away with it.
Yeah.
Remember when Nancy Pelosi became Speaker, first thing she said was, we won't be looking into impeachment or anything related to Iran or the Iraq war, right? And that damaged us significantly for years. This is an order of magnitude higher more dangerous, authoritarian. And look, you know what I love about Biden's cabinet? I don't know any of those people
Me
other than
too.
the Director of National Security. Awesome. And I will never hear from them, and there won't be any tweets or criminal prosecutions being carried out in the first month. Yeah. That's the way we want it. But you know what? We have got to make sure that there is accountability for crimes that were committed over the last 4 years.
Agreed. And by the way, you and I, I agree. Talking about Trump being buried in Arlington, you said cosign, impeached presidents should not be allowed burial in Arlington. Mm-hmm. My dad's my dad's there right near the eternal flame next to John F. Kennedy's grave.
That's right.
I can't even, turns my stomach to even think about Donald Trump being buried in Arlington, right?
It is absolutely disgraceful. And it's the only reason this story came up, where they subtly put this under there so that he could constantly harp for the next 4 years. But let's make no bones about this. That man is running for president for 2024. So this storm of crazy is going to keep up all throughout the Biden administration. The Republicans have already determined they are going to stonewall Biden on everything, which is why if we don't win those 2 late races in Georgia, and if you guys aren't out there trying to give them support in some way, shape, or form, that will be it. We will be back to the last 4 years of the Obama administration. We can change some things, but nothing will get done in the Senate. Nothing.
Yeah. No, we got Georgia on our mind. All right. And before we go, happy Thanksgiving and stay safe. And I do have to put you on the spot on one thing.
Go ahead.
Because I love you and you are a national treasure and you must remain safe. So, I've been in this existential hell about my mother yes.
I've been listening.
Right. I had to cancel my trip in March and June and September because I'm responsible for people that are here, for my mother, for my own health, so, and I'm still in hell about, going at Christmas, and she's about to turn 98 and not doing well and in assisted living and in COVID lockdown. And it's hot. You were willing to die for Bill Maher. Can you just explain to me how your decision to fly out here to do real time? Because I have a couple other friends that have flown for work. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying what is maybe your calculus as a former spy, your calculus on death is different than mine.
I am so smiling. Let me tell you what I learned. I learned that if you have a really good quality N95 mask, which will stop almost 99% of particulates, you can put that mask on, and then you can put like one of those cloth masks over it,
and a face shield. Yeah,
you can put a face shield on if you want. Yeah. And also, it doesn't hurt to fly first or business class,
yes,
right?
I was able to use my miles because I'm such a loser. I haven't been anywhere in years now. I had miles so I could do first class. Right.
The air inside the aircraft is constantly recycled in its filter.
I know, but the airport. So I'm doing red eyes because the less people in the airport, and you can go in the first class lounge, and people aren't going to be talking, eating, drinking on red eyes as much.
If you really feel strongly about it, here's what I do.
Were you scared? You weren't scared for Bill Maher? You were going to die? Oh.
Well, first off, I tested my butt off there and on arrival.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah.
But I really believe that, as they said, you have a greater chance of getting COVID going to the grocery store wearing your PPE than you do on an airplane.
I don't go to grocery stores.
What I would not recommend is flying American Airlines because they don't block middle seats, and they put everybody. There's no social distance.
That's the only one that flies nonstop to Charlotte.
However, there is this alternative, this little alternative for you. Get the guys who are in that room with you right now, okay? And go on a 3-day cross-country drive.
Oh, they are so excited about that idea.
No. You can come and get it.
I know. Dana Goldberg said this. You have people that love you so much. I'm like, no, I do not have anyone that wants to sit in a car with me for a week. I do not.
It's not a week. It's 3 days.
Both ways. Yeah. We don't have time.
Fly back.
Yeah, we don't have time. All right. Yeah, you guys are like, thanks, Malcolm. Okay. All right, just stay safe. Nobody should be flying for work.
You too. Loved all you guys.
All right, goodbye.
Thanks.
Love you.
Malcolm. Thank you.